John Cena's final match in the WWE has been the biggest point of conversation amongst WWE fans for quite a while now. So in this video I wanted to make a prediction, or I guess create a storyline for how John Cena's final run would look like. Now I do have some rules. First rule is it has to be realistic. Of course, every single person on this planet wants his final opponent to be Edge, but is that realistic? Everything can happen. Of course, anything and everything could happen, but how realistic is it? If it's like, if that happens, I'm gonna start screaming. Yeah, that's not realistic in my eyes. So that's not on this list. Spoilers, I guess. Edge is not on here. Secondly, it has to be true to what WWE say. Now, all of us know that WWE has said some lies in the past, like if we were already talking about John Cena, the once-in-a-lifetime match that was actually twice in a lifetime. When you look at John Cena and his final matches in the farewell tour, you had Randy Orton, one last time, CM Punk, one last time, all these guys, one last time. So I do kind of feel like we have to stick to that. We can't just say, oh, it's going to be Randy Orton, even though they said this, blah, 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 blah. And even with all those restrictions, which, I mean, trust me, those are some big restrictions, I did come up with something good. And it all starts on November 10th, Monday Night Raw. On November 10th, Monday Night Raw, John Cena would come out and he would talk about how happy he is about his match against AJ Styles, about how everything went so great, they hit their moves, everything went perfectly, the crowd enjoyed it, everything went amazing, and he got his 100th PLE win. He hopes to have such a graceful ending continue into his last 4 days. However, he would get interrupted by Bron Breakker, coming out with Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed, maybe even a fourth Vision member. I don't know, let's just put as a placeholder Austin Theory in there. I don't know, I'm not really sure. Bron Breakker would come out and he would talk about how after he defeated Seth Rollins, he's now the rightful heir to the future. He's now the sole vision of this company, and he is going to become the face of it. He's going to become the next face of WWE. And to cement that, he needs to take down the one who has been holding the fort for far too long. He needs to cement his legacy by retiring John Cena. John stops him right there and tells him that he needs to earn his spot. All of his previous enemies have been some of the biggest names this business has ever seen. Does Bron Breakker really think that he is on the level of a Randy Orton or a CM Punk to demand this? There are still people in the company more deserving of having a match against John Cena than he is. And out comes The Miz. Now this is a point I've thought about for a pretty long time, because Miz does deserve it, but is he up there with some of the names that should deserve it? And after some deliberation, looking at the history, looking at everything, I do think he does. I really do believe that he does deserve to have one final match. It doesn't have to be at a PLE, it doesn't have to be anything great, but he deserves to be a part of John Cena's farewell tour, no matter what. And he would have a match against John Cena, which would get interrupted after some time, after everyone gets their moves in, of course, after everything goes well. The match would get interrupted by The Vision. The Vision would lay a beat down on John Cena, and Bron Breakker would be out there telling him that he's going to be the one to retire him. He's the only one deserving of it. He already defeated one legend. He already put down Seth freaking Rollins. He can defeat John Cena. He is the future of this goddamn company, and he is going to prove it by force or otherwise. He doesn't care. He is going to prove it to everyone. In the build-up to WarGames, we have already gotten teams forming. On one side we have the heels, we have the Vision, we have Bron Breakker, we have Bronson Reed, a third unnamed Vision member. We have Brock Lesnar, who's going to be returning a favor to Paul Heyman. And then we have Randy Orton. This is another storyline that I beg is happening on on the side, I guess, of this story, but it would probably be the main story at the time. Or I guess maybe the second story at the very least. But we would have Randy Orton, who had just turned on Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event a couple weeks previously. And on the side of the faces, we have Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. And this is the night they will announce their final member, which is clearly going to be Jimmy Uso. John Cena would open Monday Night Raw on November 17th, and he would talk about how the Vision stole a great match from him and a great rival of his. They don't understand how much Miz meant to his past, how much the Miz meant to him as a person. The Vision would then come out and slowly surround him. First we would get Bron Breakker, then Bronson Reed, then Austin Theory, maybe even a Brock Lesnar. They would start to surround him. They would maybe start thinking about attacking him. But then, from the shadows, we would get CM Punk, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso. It's not going to be the Jimmy who's going to be the next member of the face group. No. It's going to be John Cena. And if Bron Breakker wants to retire him, they better win their WarGames match. Now, the reason I really decided to not go for Jimmy Uso here, I could have definitely gone with John Cena being a singles match on Survivor Series. That definitely could have been a possibility. I kind of just went with Jimmy Uso not being there. I want this jealousy to grow inside of him, and I want Jey to feel more and more like he's towering over Jimmy. So whenever either one of them turns heel, it makes even more impact. This could help them build on their story if Jimmy is not included in here, because he's clearly the guy who's never won the championship or anything, and Jey is feeling cocky when it comes to Jimmy Uso and everything, and Jimmy's clearly feeling like he's the lesser of the brothers, so this would really help feed the story, I guess. At Survivor Series, the vision has never been clearer. Bron Breakker would pin John Cena himself in the WarGames cage to finally make it official. John Cena versus Bron Breakker at Saturday night's main event, the retirement of John Cena. And finally, once Saturday night's main event finally arrived, a lot of people are expecting John Cena to win. Of course he would, he's Super Cena, he's not going to get pinned by Bron Breakker twice, but sometimes things don't necessarily always work out. John Cena would pull out every single stop in his arsenal. He would hit every single move. He would hit the tombstone. It wouldn't work. He would even hit the rock bottom. It still wouldn't work. He would hit the RKO. No. At 2.99, Bron Breakker kicks out. And he would just keep on beating up on John Cena. One spear, two spears, the ref gets knocked out, Bronson Reed does a tsunami, everything. John Cena still barely holding on, but nothing can hold on against the force of nature. His age is finally catching up to him. The things he kicked out of before, he cannot kick out of anymore. He tries to pull Bron Breakker up for an AEA. He crumbles. The shoulders that have carried the weight of this damn company for decades are no longer strong enough. It's time to pass it on. As he crumbles down to the floor, Bron Breakker gets off. He starts moving from rope to rope, setting up for a spear. And finally, he delivers a spear to the heart of John Cena. 1, 2, and 3. John Cena has lost his final match. However, after the match, Bron Breakker doesn't continue the beatdown. In fact, he kneels before him, he gets down on both of his knees, kisses the ground, says a big thank you, and leaves the ring gracefully. He understands no matter what forces might be at play, John Cena is the greatest of all time. And he got this chance. He retired John Cena, and now he can continue into being whatever he wants. The reason I went for a finale like this is kind of just because Bron Breakker could become a face pretty soon, and this could set up some tension between him and Bronson Reed later on. It kind of just works with whatever WWE decides to go with later. He could continue being a heel, saying like, he's the greatest of all time, you're not, I'm gonna beat your ass, and that's it. I understand he's the greatest of all time, and that's it. I like the guy. I appreciate what he has done for the company, for setting me up. If he didn't do that, I wouldn't be making all this money I'm making right now, baby. But also, he could go for a face turn. He could go like, yeah, I finally appreciate this business. That match taught me to appreciate this business. And yeah, those are just some really fun stuff. I like to keep things like this really open-ended. So yeah, please make sure to let me know what you think down below. Who should John Cena face in his final match? Should he win his final match? Again, I was trying to keep this in the realms of possibilities, so I understand why everyone wants Edge. I want him as well. Not realistic at all. But yeah, if you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. Please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and that's it. Thank you.